So, Leisa Goddard, there's a couple of things out of this. I think Donald Trump would be salivating at the prospect of taking on Bernie Sanders right now, because Bernie is as far left as Corbyn, and we saw what happened to Corbyn against Boris Johnson. In many ways, you know, Trump is got the same eccentricities and the same sort of style in many respects as Boris Johnson. Can Bernie win?
I don't think so. And I think the average American looking at him would be left a bit cold. If you look at what's been happening with the Democrats and the contenders that are in the race, when you take Bloomberg out of it, having lived in America and been a US bureau chief over there for 3 years and covered US politics and spoken to a lot of Americans about what their views are on the politics over there, I just don't think any of those Democrats that are in the front running now have what it takes. And I said 2 weeks ago, watch for Bloomberg, because he's skipped those first 4 contests. He's going to come out hard on Super Tuesday. They're predicting he'll spend $600 million plus on advertising. That will have an impact. It'll be, if we're lucky, we will see Bloomberg versus Trump. And I think that's the only hope the Dems have got.
Now, Dan Petrie, you worked for Michael Bloomberg.
I did.
And you know him quite well. He is probably the only Democrat nominee right now that's actually getting under Trump's skin.
Absolutely.
And he's had a few cracks about how, you know, don't get between Trump and a tub of vanilla ice cream, and the next day Trump tweeted him playing golf, you know, getting a bit of exercise, you know. So, and they're both billionaires. I mean, it would be a much, I think, I'm with Leisa, it'd be a much closer contest, I think, with Bloomberg.
Absolutely. The one thing, though, Mike had tons of sugary drinks. You could have as much as you want in those cafes at Bloomberg, so it's rather interesting that he criticises on that. But by and large, I can tell you now, just like the culture at Bloomberg LP, highly professional, you know, a great company to work for, but make no mistake, Michael Bloomberg, if it comes to a drag them out, knuckle brawl, he'll come out the other end. He is an absolute machine, that man.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's very, very good, and he's highly intelligent, very switched on, quite charismatic as well. And the other thing too is, like, you know, this is the thing, when you work at Bloomberg, you start off there going, oh, like, yeah, I'm just working here at Bloomberg LP, but then, like, it becomes like almost a cult. He's like a deity. You're like, you're going, what can I do? You know, like, and you enforce these hours. Not only that people work them, they'll work triple if they have to.
Leisa, it's interesting that Bloomberg decided to opt out of Iowa and New Hampshire, and he's obviously going to come in, you know, to Nevada and the Super Tuesday. Why do you think he adopted that strategy? And what take us through the atmosphere at a Super Tuesday type caucus?
I think he's been very strategic, and from what Dan has said, you don't become that successful in business without having a very good strategy about where you want to end up and how you're going to win this. So he sat back. I think he watched and let the American public see the Democrats sort of pull themselves apart. They didn't really...
Biden's super unimpressive.
Yeah, it really leaves you cold. So I think he just let them go out there, you know, show that there was no real competition, and then come in and strike hard.
But it is a risky strategy, because if, you know, one of those guys had got some real momentum up early on, it could have backfired on him, Dan.
Bernie's great. Bernie Sanders is fantastic for his supporters who are rusted on. But for the outside, and to your point...
Grassroots America.
Yeah, middle America, they just go, oh, sorry. But Mike Bloomberg has a record. Successful businessman.
He's a Trump.
New York man.
It's Trump. It's you know, you're competing on a Trump scale.
Absolutely. And the other thing too is this is the type of theatre Mike loves.
Yeah.
He's taking on it in his own words. He says Trump's a narcissist. But you know, this is
well, that's not breaking news.
but the thing is, you know, he's the type of guy. You know, just as I said, you know, like his best friend at Bloomberg LP is the chairman, Peter Gleeson, the most charming man you'll ever come across. But make no mistake, you cross them, they'll tear your head off. Yeah.
Well, I think that would be a fascinating contest, and I think that's the contest that you know, will ignite this particular presidential race. But yeah, if the Dems opt for Bernie, I think it's all over, Red Rover.